Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga etc. and I'm here today to bring the review for One Piece manga chapter 1059. So we start things off. We just find out that Marco, he was chilling with Shanks for a little bit. Shanks tried to recruit him, as you do. We've seen Shanks try to recruit Marco before. Marco gives him the no, that sorry, I'm done looking after you big names, like my pirate life is over kind of thing. We start off the chapter that way. I don't really know how you feel about that, about, Marco chilling with Shanks. I could imagine that could get some people kind of hyped. But for me personally, it's like, oh, okay, cool. So Marco decided to hitch a ride with Shanks and now he's on his merry way kind of thing. And that's how we start off the chapter, basically. So also, before we get into the meat of the chapter, we get a little bit of an explanation into why Yamato had decided not to join the Straw Hats. I guess no, like technically she's a Straw Hat, because at the end of the day she's a Straw Hat, but why she decided not to set sail with them. And as someone who wasn't gunning for Yamato, like just really wishing I wanted her to join the crew, it was really a matter of just reading it, understanding it, and be like, okay, whatever kind of vibe. And then we get into the meat, the good of the chapter, and that is basically finding out what went down when the Marines rolled up to Amazon Lily. What happened when the Marines rolled up to Amazon Lily? And now this is where we get our first look. And I know, like, it's a bit confusing because this translation calls them one thing, but in the past they've been called the SSG. But we basically get a look at that within this chapter. And now it is, granted, we don't see all of them. We don't know if they're all going to be looked the exact same way. But based on this chapter, I've kind of now got my own kind of opinion on what I think the SSG, the new pacifist, the new PX, whichever way you want to phrase it, is going to be like right now. So within this chapter, the one that we are shown and modeled with is one that looks like Boa Hancock when she was a kid, that was stated in the chapter as well at the very end of it. But not only that, but she does have the lasers that pacifists usually have, Kizaru's that are modeled after Kizaru. But not only that, is that she had the appearance of a Lunarian. So that has now made me think that the SSG, there's probably, how many warlords is there? 7. So I'm reckoning that there's possibly 7 designs for each SSG, and they will all each be modeled based on one of the previous warlords. And now granted, I don't understand why they chose them being kids. I don't know if they all will be kids, but that might be kind of funny. And the whole thing with how it seems at least one of them anyway has the powers of a Lunarian, I don't necessarily think that would be the case for all of them. It could be a case where each SSG, each new PX, if you will be modeled to maybe be possibly handle a certain situation, like be more not adventurous, advantageable. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. For certain situations, so therefore they might have different unique, each SSG might have a unique different ability, but overall have the same kind of general abilities, which would probably be the pacifist lasers, for example. And yeah, that seems to be the SSG right now. So it's just basically an upgrade to the PX. So seeing one in action and seeing that is really good. So far, the hype for it is okay. Like, I'm not saying the SSG is a rubbish concept, but I think because it was kind of left ambiguous for so long, that the hype for what the SSG is going to be was kind of big, and it doesn't quite meet the expectations for it, if you know where I'm coming from. But you still don't know the ins and outs fully, so So far, so good. Just a quick little amendment, because I just realised that they probably are going to be all modelled under one of the current warlords, because I went back and I realised the one that attacks Blackbeard, that's Mihawk's one. There's a panel, I can't remember if it's before or after, where you see something being sliced and you see the figure of it holding the sword. The sword is reminiscent to I think it's before reminiscent to Mihawk's sword, and then after you see him kind of attack Blackbeard. So yeah, like I said, there definitely seems like so far, since we've got 2 out of 7 so far, going to be look like the kid versions of the warlords that we had. I don't know why. I don't. It's a bit creepy to model them off the kids. Maybe that's what they're going for. Yeah, I don't understand why they're doing that. Maybe that would be explained. But I do now strongly more believe that how each one will have their own unique abilities, but they will have some abilities that follow through for all of them. So it's just a matter of seeing as things go on. I don't know if I've changed my stance on them only being 7 of them. I think I am going to keep that stance, actually, because at a glance, basically at what we've got so far, they're just better versions of the PX system, but it doesn't make sense to have them if they could be so easily mass produced. Like it kind of diminishes the hype that was set up for them if they could be so mass produced. But if it comes to a point where they're no longer producing the normal PXs that we know so far, and it's replaced that as well. But that doesn't seem like what has happened so far. It's never been stated that it's been stated that the SSGs are supposed to replace the warlords, but I feel like if it was to replace the old PX system as well, then that would have been stated at the time as well. But we'll see as things roll out. So the Marines rolled up with the SSG to Amazon Lily to take out everyone, basically capture Boa Hancock and take her into custody, kind of thing. So it seems like at least for me anyway, that the Marines were having the advantage at first with the SSG's help, but as soon as Boa Hancock stepped onto the field, that's where things started to turn. She was just turning people to stone left, right and center. And during this attack, we find out that Blackbeard also rolled up to this same party. And now, like one of the last times we see Blackbeard, he says something on the lines of, fine, if the Marines don't want it, I'm going to take it for myself. And there's a lot of speculation about what exactly that thing is. But to find out what it is within this chapter, kind of interesting. He wanted Boa Hancock's devil fruit ability. And now, I'm kind of in the lines of what Boa Hancock said within this chapter. Without me, this devil fruit ability is not the same. It's not as good. I don't think Boa Hancock said it was useless, but it's Boa's fruit. Only Boa can make it work. Obviously not, but obviously like she's basically saying, because of her beauty, she amplifies and complements the devil fruit ability, and I kind of agree with that so far. I don't really think anybody else could be working it like Boa Hancock does it, but for some reason Blackbeard wants it, so he rolled up there on those occasions. But Boa Hancock being Boa Hancock, she went to work fairly easily, turning people into stone left, right and centre, like I mentioned before. So that left a load of the Marines and a load of Blackbeard's men in stone. So Blackbeard doesn't like that. Blackbeard doesn't like that. Has Boa Hancock by the neck. It's like, yo, turn my people back or I'm going to kill you. But luckily, Boa was able to talk her way into surviving for then. But then something bad happens. something mad happens. And I'm not gonna lie, when this bit of the chapter rolled up, and I'm not still, I was gonna say Silver Shanks, when Rayleigh started talking, I was like, yeah, put some respect on his name, because even I was buying into what he was saying at the time, and even Blackbeard was buying into what he was saying at the time, because when there's a panel, and Blackbeard don't look too happy. He looks in shock. He's like, oh, jeez, damn it. You had to listen. You had to listen. So at the very least, he was worried. Blackbeard was worried. But if you can go on to say that even Blackbeard may have believed, that he wasn't ready to deal with Rayleigh. Sorry, the examiners made me forget the names and everything. Rayleigh. Because he dipped. And he didn't trouble the Amazon Lily no more. He dipped. However, Rayleigh does admit afterwards, like, yo, like, if I had to fight Blackbeard, I would have won that. I'm too old for this game, kind of thing. But I feel like, because we see a shocked Blackbeard, that he at least believed that Rayleigh had a chance of winning if they went 1-on-1. And that is really crazy, because Rayleigh, past his prime, old man, retirement ages kind of thing. So that was crazy within itself. But let me know what you guys think. Rayleigh versus Blackbeard right now. Well, how do you think that would turn out? But yeah, Blackbeard decided to kidnap Koby. That's how we leave off the chapter, and it just got me thinking, like, yo, what could Blackbeard possibly want with Koby? Still pondering that right now, because I don't know. I can only sort of think of it, but I do kind of think that is the reason for why his bounty is now just on the edges of 4 billion, because I think before it was 2 billion something. Correct me if I'm wrong. So almost doubled his bounty, but no. No, that is it out loud. Getting your bounty almost doubled for stealing Koby, the hero. Probably not, but it might be part of the reason why his bounty has increased as of recent. So yeah, there's that's the cliffhanger for the chapter. Possibly the last thing to say about the chapter, and doesn't really add nothing as far as I can think to the overall story that is One Piece. But we find out that Rayleigh's friend, Shaki, I think her name is, she was once part of the Amazon Lily. And I was like, alright, okay, cool. Fair enough. She was a former captain of the Kuja Pirates, and I was like, alright, cool, fair enough. She did her time, she wanted to retire now. Fair enough. It is what it is. But overall, the pacing of this chapter was really good. The excitement was up there. We started off on a low and just went straight as high as it could go, and I think it got as high as a 4-star rating. And like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel, but most importantly, take care, have a nice day.